Black women date white men for money. Black women date white men for citizenship. Narrative that African women are so desperate to escape Africa. You can get your man even if he's ugly, but as long as he's providing for you, that's okay. Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to the Shaki Unfiltered podcast. I am your host, Shakira, and I hope that you all are doing great. If you haven't subscribed yet, do not forget to hit the subscription button right now because we're going to be bringing hot conversations, unfiltered, unapologetic, name it. So you don't want to be missing this kind of hot conversations that we're going to be bringing to you. Today, we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic. At some point, if you are dating a white man or you're married to one, you've had some things like this. Black women date white men for money. Black women date white men for citizenship. Those are some of the sentences that people throw around every single time. You might find these kind of sentences in your comment sections in case you're on social media. You'll find them on the streets. Like you'll be walking around with your man, and people will be like, "Oh, we know you're dating the man for money. You're dating the man for citizenship and stuff like that." I am very sure if you are in an interracial relationship, you have at one point had this kind of sentence in your life. Either they're accusing you of dating your man for money or they are telling you that you're dating your man for citizenship. It is like the moment they see a black woman with a white man, all of a sudden every person becomes a relationship analyst. They begin scrutinizing your relationship so intensely, like they know you better than you know yourself. When I was moving with my man, every person had a say. Every person. People that I do not know, people that I have never seen in my entire life, they always had a comment to say. On the border stage, they'll be like, "Oh, so you're leaving us for that one. The good thing you've gotten citizenship. Oh, the good thing you've gotten money. Oh, are you with him because of money?" Like every person all of a sudden becomes a relationship analyst. It's almost automatic. Like every person that has a white man who is dating interracial, it's like automatic. They don't even stop and ask themselves, maybe this lady loves the man genuinely. Maybe their true feelings. It's like automatic. The first thing that comes to their head is money. You're dating this man for money. Citizenship, passport. They never stop to wonder if there is a genuine connection, if there is a story behind this connection. No. And what's interesting is that society also loves this narrative, most especially if the woman is African. You've seen it yourselves. If you're in an interracial relationship, even back at your own home with your own people, they're going to always assume you have money. They're going to be the first one that they think about if they have any issues. After all, you have a white man. So most people think having a white man equates to having money. You get? So even in your own home, they'll come to you with problems. Your own friends are always going to be looking for you for problems to solve their problems because they assume you have money. Because they assume you're with this man for the money and you're getting the money. There is also this narrative that African women are so desperate to escape Africa. So whenever you're with a white man, there is an agenda behind it. They're like, there is no way you love that man. There is something, there is an agenda, you're chasing something. I actually find this very revealing because same energy doesn't exist when like a wealthy older man marries a very young, beautiful girl from his country. That whole narration of, oh, she's with him for his money doesn't always come out so much. Like the way an African woman will find herself dating a European, an American guy. It's like too much. It's like people think automatically we can never love a Mzungu man. We always have an agenda hidden to it. But guys, who does not want stability in a relationship? If this man is giving you the stability, will you reject it just because okay, the site is going to say that I'm with him for his money, I'm with him for citizenship? All of us look for stability in relationships. Stability has always mattered, security has always mattered. And to be honest, people have been marrying in wealth all the time. People marry status all the time. When you get yourself a man and maybe you're telling your friend, oh, guess what? I have found myself a man. The first things they'll even ask you, what kind of work does he do? How much does he make? They'll not even ask if this person is emotionally intelligent or not. They're gonna look at the fact that this person can provide for you. This person is stable, is going to provide for you the security, the financial freedom, all of that before they look at the individual. There's this thing here in Uganda, like you can get your man even if he's ugly, but as long as he's providing for you, that's okay. And even after seeing very many people marry into wealth every single day, people marrying because of status every single day. But for some reason, when it's an African woman that is getting married to a white man, everybody begins acting like this woman is the very first person that invented dating for stability. In history, these kingdoms used to intermarry, like they'll get a princess from here to get married to a prince in the other kingdom because of the stability. They want to keep, the relations going on, the money in the family. So if you find somebody that is giving you the stability that you've been looking at, why won't you go for that? Why is it okay when other people do it, but it's an issue when an African woman does it? And another thing that I want to understand, why do people only reduce African women to opportunists? Why is the entire relationship centered around what she gains? Haven't you ever sat there and think maybe this person loves the other one genuinely? Why is it always maybe she's gaining this and gaining that? And to be fair, there's a lot of so many things that the white men are gaining by marrying African women. But this is not something that we talk about a lot. And today, I came here to tell you guys because you people assume that African women are the only ones benefiting in marrying interracial. You have not seen or you're underlooking what the white man is gaining from marrying a Ugandan woman, from marrying a Kenyan woman. Some of them are not clueless explorers that were just lost backpacking on some mountain and then they landed in the hand of an African woman. Some of them were calculative. They know exactly what they wanted and they did this intentionally, knowing that I need to go to Uganda and find myself a Ugandan woman because of A, B, C, and D. Today's topic, we're going to focus more on what the white man is benefiting from dating an African woman. We all know that the African continent is becoming very beautiful, it's becoming very juicy. Every person wants a piece of the African continent, the developments that are coming with the African continent, and all of that. So, not all these white men that are coming to date African women are just clueless tourists that just fell in love while backpacking around Africa. No, some of them come here looking for business opportunities. Some of them come to these African countries because the African economy is becoming very beautiful. There are business opportunities, investment opportunities, cheap labor, cheap living costs, growing markets, land, tourism, and so many more. So some of them come here after they have done extensive research because now Africa is not a continent that people always pity. It's also becoming the continent people want to access because of all the minerals, all the business opportunities. So many people want to invest in Uganda. So someone comes, has done their research. Because I, for one, when I was on the dating apps, I used to talk so much with different people. And they would ask you straight away, which kind of businesses do you think somebody can start up in Uganda that can generate them a lot of wealth? These are some of the conversations that I was having with so many people on those dating apps. So people do their research. Someone will be like, okay, if I, with this kind of money that I have, if I go to Uganda, how much money will I have and what can this money do for me there over there? So they know exactly what they're coming for. Some of them come here thinking that the African women are very, very traditional. They're traditional wives. For some reason, their own women in their countries have failed to understand them and they think the African women have these values. They will even tell you, like, oh, I'm told Ugandan women are so respectful towards their husbands. They are traditional. I'm looking for traditional wife. So they know exactly what they are looking for. They're not some clueless people that are just coming here and falling in the hands of an African woman that is going to take all their money, like most of you love to put it. Historically, royal families married for alliances, rich families married for wealth consolidation, political families married for influence. So everybody was looking at a benefit. Everybody was looking for something that they benefit from the relationship. But when African women enter into interracial relationships, everybody now begins to assume that love exists in a vacuum. There is no love between these two. That's very unrealistic. Human relations are emotional. There is no way you're going to pretend to love somebody and you're living with this person for years and you're only pretending. Somehow, somewhere, the love is going to come. I always think that some people are just always projecting their own insecurities because somebody's out there thinking, if I get myself a white man, I'm going to get a visa, I'm going to get citizenship. because they cannot get this and they're seeing somebody else who is in that position with this white man, so they always assume this is what they are getting, because this, for them, this is what they would have wanted in that relationship. So they will assume this person also has the same mindset. And there's also this resentment that is attached by seeing a black woman get things that people think they don't deserve. People think black women don't deserve to be loved. So if they see some black woman being loved genuinely by a white man, that is not genuine. That lady is not with that man because the lady loves the man. That she has an agenda. And one thing that I want to understand is, why do you assume that these white men are being used? Why do people automatically position the white man as a victim? As if this man doesn't know what he's doing. Like he doesn't have any cells up in his brain. These are grown men, and most of them understand the dynamics. And they are benefiting something too. But society loves to infantilize these men while demonizing the African women. Oh, this man didn't know any better. He's a Muzungu. He's being manipulated. That woman is shrewd. That woman is a manipulator. And I think this is all because people are finding it hard to believe that Africa as a continent is becoming more valuable. Because once this idea comes into their brains, now they'll begin to see that, okay, both parties have something to benefit. So they'll suddenly have to acknowledge that this foreigner, this white man, also something to benefit from Uganda, has something to benefit from marrying a Ugandan woman. So instead of asking yourself, is this black woman dating for citizenship, for love, or for papers? Instead of asking that, we should begin asking ourselves, why are people obsessed with interrogating black women's motives while refusing to critically examine everybody else's? Why is it only that the black women are the ones who have motives? How about the others? Why don't we critically analyze or examine the motives for coming for an African woman? Because I'm sure by the time somebody leaves their continent miles away to come here to Uganda to say Shakira, there's so many women there. So what? Let us look at the fact that, why is he leaving his country, his continent, spending so much money just to come to Uganda and see Shakira? Before we get emotional about this topic that I'm hinting at, okay, I want us to understand that not all white men, not all people in interracial relationships, but I want us to understand that some men, some white men, benefit a lot from marrying African women. So how do they benefit from dating an African woman? Some of them get easier residence pathways. Somebody has been trying to make some business in Uganda, but with the constant visa renewal all the time, paying $50 $50 for every single time that they are here. So they think, which way can I come in Uganda and work in Uganda? Because even in Uganda, you have to get a work permit before you can work here. Which way can I come in Uganda, make a business without always paying for visa and all of this? And now they sit down and think, one, you need to get either married to a Ugandan woman, then this woman can help you get a dependent visa for you to come and work here in Uganda. You may be thinking, oh, there are no jobs in Uganda. But people are creating jobs. These people are trying to invest. When I was working in a law firm, we had a client, and this client wanted to file for a divorce with the wife. And he told us that he did not enter this marriage out of love. They entered this marriage out of business. So when he came to Uganda, he wanted to buy some land. And obviously, for a foreigner to buy, you cannot buy and own land in Uganda, but you can lease land. But for him, he wanted to own the land. So obviously, he knew this. He knew that he couldn't buy land. He could only lease it for a few years, and then obviously the land would go back to whoever leased it to him. So he was like, no, this is not going to work. So he gets into a relationship with this lady, contractual, because I think they were working together with this lady. They agreed to get married. So they got married. He bought this land. He put there lots, some farm, whatever. He was planting some things on that land. And the land was so huge. And they got some other properties. They bought some other properties. But remember, he was buying this property in both the lady's name and his name, because one, the lady is a Ugandan. So since the wife is a Ugandan, they can buy the land in both of their names, but he cannot buy land on his own as a foreigner. So now time came, I think, where I felt like the lady was now overstepping, forgetting the reason as to why they got into this relationship. And it was like, you know what? I need to get a divorce. But I don't know, you guys need to advise me on how this property thing is going to work for us, because this and this and this, you know. So I'm telling you this to show you that not every person that comes to Uganda to get married to a Ugandan woman is coming here because they are so much in love, they are clueless. They have done extensive research. So many people want to start businesses here. Some of them would want to get married to an African, to get some connections locally. Once you're already having a local family that you're connected to, it will be easy for you. Because this one thing about Ugandans, let me talk about Ugandans. There's a way they love this whole thing of family. So when you're connected to one person and you have plans of investing in the country and you're already connected to this local family, it's gonna be very easy for you because they can always be your eyes. Some of them will come here because they want cheap labor. We've seen so many investors in Uganda looking for cheap labor. So somebody will come here looking for cheap labor, and in the due course they fall in love, and they're like, okay, which better way? Because one thing about Bazungu, they always love this whole divide and rule. Even now, you've seen so many investors, so they will look for an African woman to recruit the fellow Africans to come and give cheap labor. The biggest issue is these ones looking for traditional wives. There is so many of them that come to Africa looking for traditional wives. So they are not victims. They come here knowing, oh, I want my wife to stay at home, to cook for me, to do this for me, to worship me, because someone told them that in Africa you can always get an obedient wife. Someone told them in Africa that women can worship the ground that you move on. So they want to come here and see that for themselves. So they're not clueless. I had so many conversations with so many people, and people will be like, I cannot get married to the people in my country. The ladies in my country do not respect their men. The ladies in my country have gone astray. The ladies in my country. So they think the perfect women are in Africa. And besides, who told that all these African women are not in love with these men? We need to notice something very interesting. When African women are perceived to benefit something from an interracial relationship, we are going to call this manipulation. That woman manipulated that man. But if it's the white man that is getting something from an African woman, they're always going to be calling it building life abroad, exploring opportunities, expanding globally, falling in love with the culture. He fell in love with the culture, so he decided to stay in Uganda. But if it's an African woman, she's been looking for a man to, for visa, for this. She manipulated the man into getting her visa. We've also seen there's so many people, so many white men that are retired, and they want to come to countries where their money is going to be of value. So they'll come to Africa here. And some of them in the process, they want cheap labor, they want people who are going to take care of them. They will come here pretending that they are so in love with you, but in actual sense, they know they are getting old. They do not have anybody to take care of them in their old age. Because for some reason, they do not have any relationships with their relatives back home. So they know when they come to Africa and they give you some little money, you're going to care for them in their old age. So many of them, so many old wazungu around here, looking for caretakers in the name of marriage. So many of them. Some of them come here because they want maybe children. They have so many agendas. There's a story that I came across one time on TikTok. There's a lady, I think her name is Don Shamim something, yeah. She was telling a story of a lady that was married to this guy. They stayed in this marriage for some time and they even had 2 children. This man used to pay special attention to the first child, the first son. Like, he used to always make sure that this kid is so fine, no harm befalls this child. If even this child got a tiny, tiny injury, the child would be rushed to the hospital. So, in their marriage, this lady had never actually gone to his home country. The man used to tell her, we shall go, we shall go, we shall go. And then, at one point, he gets for this child, the elder son, the passport of his country. And then he said for the young child, when he comes back, they are going to settle this. So one morning, he wakes up and tells the lady that his mom passed on in their home country. So he wants to go with one of the children, for the burial or everything. So the lady is like, but why don't you go with both of them since it's their grandmother and all of that? He's like, no, I think I'll come back and then we shall, process your own and the second child. For now, let me go with the first child alone. So the lady is like, okay, cool, because I've spent some time in this marriage. What could go wrong? So when the guy goes, when he reaches his country, he turns off his phone, he blocks the lady, like loses communication with the lady. After some time, the lady is now wondering what's going on. she keeps on investigating, and because somebody that you've been in good terms with, all of a sudden once he reaches his country, he has cut all communication, nothing. So I think one time maybe she kind of finds a different contact of the guy and calls the guy, and the lady picks up and is like, "Oh, I'm so and so's wife." The lady on the phone introduces herself as the wife. Remember, this lady knew that she was the wife in Uganda. They were married in Uganda. So hearing that there's another wife in that country shocked her so much that she ended up in the hospital. So after further investigation, they learned that this man had a different family in his country plus a child. But this child had some illness that needed some whatever transplant, something like that. So, and the transplant was needed from either a sibling. So the guy had to come, find a lady, have a child with a lady, and when they matched that whatever the DNA was matching, and this kid could be a donor to the child back home. So when he went back with this child back home, the child was taken there as a donor. So he came here looking for someone that could do that for him freely. Maybe probably the wife couldn't give birth again because I think she had difficulty labor, so she couldn't have another child. So that's why they came and found themselves a cheap surrogate. So not all of these people are here because okay they are clueless. They know what they're doing, because it's not like you're dragging a young child by the ear and be like this and this. We only focus on this part that the African woman has something to gain, but we leave out the part where the white man also has a lot to gain. I have seen so many white men who want to get African citizenship. They want to get African passports as well. Why do you think that Africa is not so desirable that somebody would not want to get a passport here? So many of them are out there who want to get passports of Uganda, passports of any African country. If the easiest way for them is to get married to an African woman, why not? Relationships are rarely one dimensional. People marry for love. There are people that marry for love. People marry for companionship, for status. It's never one sided. People marry for different reasons. If you're feeling used over and over again, you not wake up one morning and be like, okay, let me marry this lady. Maybe you're getting something from me as well. So you decide, okay, she's the right person for me. Some marry for status, for opportunities. Some marry for all of these at once. So before we come out to criticize the black woman, to critically question her motives, her intentions for dating this white guy, let's look at what the white guy can benefit from dating this African woman. Let's look at that as well. We should stop criminalizing these black women for the decisions that they do with their love life. Stop questioning them, because you have no right to do that. We see that one side is criminalized while the other side is romanticized. When it's an African woman, she's a manipulator. When it's a white man, she's looking for opportunities. Even if it's a white woman marrying an African man, she fell in love with the culture. But if it's the other way around, manipulation, you get. And do you know why this is so? And they cannot believe that an African woman can truly be loved and desired without any strings attached to it. Society still struggles to see an African woman desired outside of struggle, because they believe that African women are already struggling. There is no way somebody can just love them if they are not manipulating that person. People are very comfortable imagining African women being chosen out of pity, being fetishized, being rescued. You get, because there's so many people who assume when they come to Africa, they have this, savior complex with them. If they come to Africa and find themselves an African woman, they are going to be rescuing them. Rescuing them from what exactly? What are you rescuing us from? So the idea that an African woman can simply be loved, desired, preferred, valued still bothers a lot of people. People cannot believe that. So instead of accepting that, they're going to reduce it to stereotypes. And we forget that the whole concept where the African women are fetishized a lot. Like I said, there's some white men that are going to seek out African women because of some fantasies. She's submissive, she's less feminist, she's traditional, she'll appreciate more, she's easier to impress, and she's more grateful. Like I said, in their home country, the ladies, they're raised with the same moral standard as them. So they find that being difficult. They want a lady that's going to worship the ground that they walk on. You get. So they know exactly what they're getting into. Because some of these people come to Africa specifically because they think that dating here is going to be more easier than dating back home. You've met those men. If you've been online trying to find love online, Even a man who has once told you that how very difficult it is to date in his home country, you get. So he's specifically looking for a lady, to date from Africa, to date because this woman is going to do everything for him. So some of them come here maybe because in their home country they were seen as average, they were overlooked. But when they suddenly arrive in Africa with their foreign currency, their foreign status, and foreign passport, they are instantly treated differently. Now they begin feeling like, okay, they matter. So they want to add on to that by getting themselves a dark chocolate woman, to make them feel like more of a man than they are. To be fair, this whole conversation of dating for papers actually amuses me so much because people think that citizenship is the only thing that can ever exist in a relationship. There is no I'm going to talk to somebody for months just for papers. Personally, if I'm talking to somebody and I don't like you, the irritation will show on my face every single time. I don't think I can pretend to love someone just because I want papers from them. Seriously, I don't think I can do that. If the people that do that, that is something that I really, really commend them for. Because my face alone will tell you in a few weeks of us talking to each other. If I don't like you and I'm just with you for papers and there is no slightest form of love in my heart for you, you will know that. You will know that from the get go because there is no way I can stomach it. Like you're coming, we are being together, we are laughing, sometimes even being intimate, and I do not like you. Trust me, that will be so. I will be so repulsed by that. I think I'll even throw up. The idea of pretending to love somebody alone for papers. We should stop generalizing that African women are dating white men for their money for citizenship because there's so many people out there that are dating genuinely for love. Some people are genuinely attracted to men from different races, different cultures, and that has nothing to do with money. But getting yourself a man that can provide is obviously what all of us want in life. Looking for a man that is not going to let you stay hungry, looking for a man that is going to provide, that is going to be there whenever it matters. That is what we all need in life. So if I'm getting that from a white man, why won't I take that? If I'm getting that from a white man, then let it be that. Why do I have to be criminalized for how I feel about somebody just because of their skin color? Why must everything have to mean something? Why must everybody overanalyze my relationship with somebody? People that I don't even know will obviously have something to say about me and my relationship. Like, why is it that we've seen so many people like in the same culture, in the same country, getting married for various reasons? We need to learn to mind our businesses as people. Why do you feel the need to comment on everything that comes your way? It's none of your business. If I am dating my husband, if I'm married to my husband for citizenship and for his money, how is that your business? I am the one that knows exactly how I run my relationship, and it's me who knows exactly how I feel about the other party to the relationship. So if you have nothing to do with it, why do you feel the need to put your mouth in my relationship? I actually hate people that always think that they have things to say about people's circumstances, people's relationships. Even when they have no clue about people's struggles, they just find the need to poke their nose everywhere in things that don't concern them. So what if I'm dating for citizenship? If you enjoy dating for poverty, then go for it. Nobody's gonna judge you. But do not be bitter when somebody else is getting someone that loves them so much. I have seen this, like you'll find an interracial couple being affectionate, traveling, enjoying their life, and there are always gonna be comments like, "Oh, she's with you for your papers, green card secured, visa secured." Like people are busy enjoying their life. Then there is you, the bitter you that has something to say, like, "Oh, this and this." Please, find things to do. Find things to do. I feel like we need to change as individuals. Let people date for whatever reason that is between them and their partners. That is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching the video at the very end. I love you all. Hope you have a lovely day. And I will see you in the next episode. Ciao.